If you recently lost your job and your health coverage due to the COVID-19 pandemic and you think you may be eligible for Medicare, you probably have more questions than answers right now. Statewide Insurers Group, All Things Medicare, can help you with that. We can provide the guidance and the answers that you need to get the benefits you may be eligible for. Don't let this time of uncertainty jeopardize your eligibility for your Medicare benefits. Remember, relationships matter. Call Statewide Insurers Group today for the answers that you need now. 316-8166.
Being prepared and trained is the best way to keep your family safe. The best way to be prepared is to learn from those who've spent a lifetime protecting us. Barnes Safety and Consulting LLC offers concealed carry classes with instructors who are law enforcement officers active and retired with more than 100 years of law enforcement experience. Monthly classes are taught year-round with private classes and special group rates available. Classes are $75 and held in the Bailey area. Call or text 1-800-653-0643. Get your concealed carry permit and avoid becoming a victim.
And welcome to the K-Files this morning. This morning is going to be J.P. Barnes and myself. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me back.
Well, I'm so glad you came back, and I want to personally thank you for supporting this program the entire time almost that we've been on. So thank you, J.P., for doing that.
You're welcome. Thank you for what you do for the community and helping solve some of these crimes.
Yes, I think we have been pretty successful. We said at first, if we can solve one crime, we'll feel really good, and it's been several. So we are very happy and hope the folks will keep calling that hotline. It's a very important number, 406-6736. If you know about anything, and we're on YouTube, we're online. We're streaming this morning. We stream worldwide. And we're on 3 times a week. So anyway, there's no reason. It is anonymous when you call. No one will know who you are, and our payout is up to $15,000.
Wow.
Up to. So, and we do pay out, and I do want to say that we pay out fast.
That's good.
And I know so because I write the checks. So I can tell you that by the next day, you will have a check in hand.
Well, that's good.
Yes, we want to make sure we hold up our end of the bargain because you have held up yours and called as we ask if you have a tip. So thank you for everybody that's called in tips, and if you know something, we certainly hope you will. Okay. Today we're going to do something a little different, something that I like. This is kind of thing that I love what we're doing on the show, but this gives us a little bit of something different that people are very interested in. I want to talk about, you teach concealed carry.
Yes, ma'am. Mm-hmm.
Now, how important do you think it is to have a concealed carry?
It's very important because ultimately the obligation in keeping yourself safe, your family safe, your loved ones safe, that obligation is your responsibility. Mm-hmm. The average response time to law enforcement in Nash County, it varies depending on the time, the day.
Sure.
And when you look at your watch and you think 1 minute, 2 minutes, 4 minutes, 6 minutes, 12 minutes response time, these tools right here could mean the difference between life and death, the safety of your family.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Suppose somebody's coming at you in your house, and let's face it, even if they get there, believe me, if they get there in 6 minutes, 8 minutes, that's the longest 6 minutes of your life.
That's right.
It is.
And I've seen online recently, we're starting to see an uptick in home invasions.
Yes.
And you ask yourself, when you're sitting at home tonight, today, and you're watching TV, ask yourself, what would I do right now sitting in this recliner if somebody kicked my front door in? Where are my tools to protect myself and my family?
Right.
What would I do if somebody come through this door right now? My children are down the hall. My wife is in the shower. Do you have a plan? Have you ever discussed with your family, what would we do if a home invasion took place?
Oh, gosh.
It's
Yes.
things we don't want to think about, but it could happen.
But you need to.
It could happen.
It's one of those unpleasantries that we don't want to think about, but we better think about it, is
Mm-hmm.
what it is. But so you need to keep your gun. Don't have your gun somewhere where you've got to scramble. Where did I put it? Where
Right.
is it?
All right. And also you have to keep in mind, are there small children in your home? Would
Yes.
small children frequent your home? Because if that's the case, you are required to keep this weapon locked up and safe. So you need to be mindful of where you keep it. I keep mine secured. I keep mine locked up. My older kids, I call them kids, 20 years old, they know how to access a weapon in an emergency situation. They know in an emergency situation in my home what they should do.
Yes.
We have a safe word. If I yell a particular word in my home, they know something is
that's
wrong.
great.
If I'm talking to my kids on the phone and I say a word, they know something is wrong.
Well, I'll bet you most people don't have that. I don't.
It's something to
I'm
think
going to
about.
get one today.
It's something to think about.
Wow. Okay, so you recommend, so you do have children in the house.
I do.
So your gun is not loaded. You don't have time to load a gun.
I keep my weapons loaded,
You do keep them
active,
loaded,
and ready to go.
but
Yes,
they're
ma'am.
locked up.
Yes.
If you have children,
Yes.
they have to be. I'm trying to
But
clarify.
I've got them
for
where I can
everybody
get them
that's
in
got
my
children.
hand. Believe it or not, I have a weapon. I have a firearm in almost every room in my house.
Right.
And it's not out of paranoia. We don't have a crystal ball, the luxury of knowing which room we're going to be in
That's right.
should a home invasion take place.
Right.
And the good news for my family is if I'm upstairs, if I'm in a bathroom, if I'm outside, and I don't have a weapon in my person, which is odd, in just a matter of moments, I'm going to be armed and in a position to protect my family.
Now, what if I'm in my vehicle in my driveway and they come up to my vehicle? What right do I have? I've got my gun.
You have the right to protect yourself and your family and your loved ones in situations where you feel like there is a threat of imminent death or
Okay.
great bodily harm or sexual assault that's about to take place.
Okay.
That is the law in North Carolina.
Okay.
You don't have to wait to see a gun. You don't have to wait to see a weapon. It is the threat of imminent death, great bodily harm, or sexual assault about to take place.
Right. Okay. Hold your calls just a few minutes, and then, folks, we're gonna, if you have calls for JP, you can certainly call in, because I know I have questions, so I'll give you your opportunity to ask questions as well. So let's talk about your classes. When, okay, how do you sign up for your classes?
Typically, we have one public class a month. You can find us online on Facebook. My next one is August the 21st.
Okay.
And since COVID, we've seen an uptick in people wanting to book private classes for their friends, their family. We go out to local churches, fire departments. We had a group of doctors out at Wilson Memorial who booked like a 10-person class
Oh,
for just
really?
the doctors, yeah. And we cater to you. We come to you, you can come to us, you can use our firearms facility. Price is all inclusive. We provide everything. All you have to do is show up.
Do you have somewhere at JP that people can go to just if I want to just practice.
Yes, I've got a farm just outside of Bailey. It's laid out with a nice handgun range. And I actually have it available for people to come with their family, with their kids, train, shoot. And that's another thing. A lot of people, they're not familiar with weapons. They're not familiar with loading, firing, things like that. They come to my class and I tell them, don't come take this class and not continue to practice the use of a firearm.
Yeah.
Make it a regular occurrence. Make it a family event. Spend some time with your kids out on the range, your loved one, your wife, your girlfriend, and be proficient. Be proficient.
Right.
Because if and when that situation arises, you don't want to freeze.
No, you do not. You do not. Yeah, one of my friends just bought a handgun. Her and her husband went and she picked her one out and she said, I've got to go somewhere and practice and shoot. And she said, I think I'd enjoy it. And so, anyway, just want to know if you, and that's good. So if you do, you can call JP for that too. So, well, you want to do some let's see what time it is. Yeah, we got time. You want to do a demonstration? You brought some guns today.
Sure.
We got permission to have them on the campus. They're not loaded.
That's right.
We will make that
And as you
disclaimer
can
right
see-
now.
As you can see, it's
It's not
loaded.
It's not loaded.
Okay, this is one of my favorites. This is a Smith & Wesson stainless steel Model 66. Very fun to shoot. Highly recommend a revolver type weapon like this for someone who's not real familiar with firearms, and that is because in an emergency situation, all you have to do is make sure there's ammo inside, point, pull the trigger. That's it. That's it. Where a weapon like this, a semi-automatic, there's a few more steps you have to go through to make it, ready to discharge.
Now, sometimes us women want it to be as simple as it can be. I mean,
This
and
is
that
what you
would
need.
be.
Yes, ma'am.
And what is that called again?
This particular weapon is a revolver.
Okay.
Model 66, stainless steel, very little upkeep to it. All you have to do is just kind of keep it wiped down. You don't
Right.
have to worry about it rusting or anything like that.
Okay. All right. Do you sell guns?
I do sell guns. I do.
Okay. That's something else I wanted to ask.
I do.
Okay. All right. So you brought, let's see the other one.
Okay, this one is typically what you would see in law enforcement avenues. This is as you can see, it's empty. It's not loaded.
It's not loaded.
This is a 45-16 Smith & Wesson, one of my favorite concealed carry weapons, semi-automatic. With this, you have to insert a magazine.
Okay.
You would actually work the slide to chamber around, and then you would actually have to take it off safety and into a firing situation to use it.
Okay.
A lot of steps there to go through in an emergency situation where your heart rate is elevated.
Well, I was going to ask you
A lot of
that.
things
I
you've got to
mean,
get it, a lot of steps you have to go through to get it ready.
So, why wouldn't you want a simple one for that?
Well, believe it or not,
Well, you know how to use that.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah. I think nothing of
you're-
it.
You're a retired, state trooper. You think nothing of it. But us, even some guys might not be gun savvy, and something like that, I can just see that I would have a hard time.
And
I would
like I say,
freak
I
out.
think of it as tools.
Yeah.
Tools of the trade. The more experience you have with either one of them, the more proficient you're going to be, which goes back to training, which goes back to range time, things like that. In just a matter of time, you could be just as proficient working this weapon as you could this one.
Okay, just takes practice.
Yes, ma'am.
Like everything else.
Like
just takes
everything
practice. All right, we're going to go to our first break on the K-Files, and we'll be right back with JP Barnes and myself.
If you recently lost your job and your health coverage due to the COVID-19 pandemic, and you think you may be eligible for Medicare, you probably have more questions than answers right now. Statewide Insurers Group, All Things Medicare, can help you with that. We can provide the guidance and the answers that you need to get the benefits you may be eligible for. Don't let this time of uncertainty jeopardize your eligibility for your Medicare benefits. Remember, relationships matter. Call Statewide Insurers Group today for the answers that you need now. 316-8166.
Being prepared and trained is the best way to keep your family safe. The best way to be prepared is to learn from those who've spent a lifetime protecting us. Barnes Safety and Consulting LLC offers concealed carry classes with instructors who are law enforcement officers active and retired with more than 100 years of law enforcement experience. Monthly classes are taught year-round with private classes and special group rates available. Classes are $75 and held in the Bailey area. Call or text 1-800-653-0643. Get your concealed carry permit and avoid becoming a victim.
Okay, and welcome back to the K-Files. It's JP Barnes and myself, Barnes Safety and Consulting. So I know you do more than concealed carry.
Yes, ma'am.
Because you're a retired trooper, so you do more than just concealed carry. What else do you do?
Well, for years with the patrol, what I did is I worked on the commercial motor vehicle side of the house. So after I retired, I began a truck transportation consulting business, and hence the name Barnes Safety and Consulting. We help owner-operators or large businesses that offer truck transportation services how to comply with the complicated state and federal regulations that are associated with the commercial motor vehicle industry.
Oh, wow.
Whether it be the company gets an inspection that they need to contest a violation of, and they need representation. If they've got some vehicles that they need to have inspected that were involved in a CMV-related crash, we do expert testimony for attorneys, insurance companies. We help owner-operators get the required permitting that they need to travel in North Carolina and to other states. There's a big industry there to help carriers and to keep them compliant.
There's a big need for that, isn't it?
There is a big need. With the economy the way it is, everything in this room got here through a truck.
Oh, absolutely.
Truck
And I wish
transportation.
people would realize that, because that's the truth.
It is. And we just want to have a business that helps these carriers maintain a safety record and
Yes.
to protect the motoring public.
Oh, that's really good. That's really good. Well, I know they appreciate that.
It's been good to me. It really has.
Well, so how do you have classes, or what do you do?
Typically what happens is a carrier will have an issue, hours of service, the feds are coming in to do an audit, they're scrambling, and they want to make sure that their files, for example, are compliant. They'll call me, can you come in and do a mock audit?
Right.
I'll go in and basically go through their files, I'll look at their trucks, I'll look at their drivers. A lot of people don't know they have to have a background investigation on a driver. They've got to maintain files on these CMVs, on their employees, and a lot of them, they just don't know.
Right.
So they'll hire me, I'll come in and I'll identify these things so that when the feds do come in, the feds walk in and say, look, this carrier is squared away.
Right.
They know what they're doing. Because if the feds come in and take your DOT authority or your operating authority, you're out of business.
Right.
And
Absolutely.
Highway Patrol, we write, a lot of people are used to this $200-300 ticket. Well, on the commercial motor vehicle side of the house, I mean, you're talking about a $10,000 ticket, a $25,000 ticket.
Right.
I wrote two. I've written the state's second and third largest ticket that was ever issued.
Oh, wow.
One of them was $86,500. One was $86,900.
Wow.
And motor carrier compliance issues.
Sure. So you keep these folks in compliance.
Yeah,
is what
we're
you
there to
do.
help them.
Yeah, you're
I'm
on
trying
their
to
side.
help. Now I've gone from an enforcement avenue with
Yes.
patrol, and I want to help these carriers operate in a safe, compliant way and save them the money and the headache from violations or citations from the Federal Motor Carrier or from the Highway Patrol. And the benefit is to the public.
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
The motoring public.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, like I said, I know they appreciate this because now you're on the other side of it. And you know what is needed because you used to give the citations for
Yes.
it. So now you know what is needed to keep them from getting the ones like you used to give.
And there's a group of us that got together. My old sergeant, a lieutenant friend, one of the local Federal Motor Carrier auditors who have retired, and we kind of networked. And I mean, we pretty much covered the state of North Carolina.
Wow, that is great. Well, I'm glad to hear that you're doing such good things. So back to concealed carry and how important it is to get a concealed carry. And the fact, and I love the fact that you can get your friends together, your girlfriends together, you know, have a girls' night,
That's
a
right.
girls' day, whatever. A girls' class, your friends. It's always fun when a group of girls get together and laugh and have fun. But it is a serious matter, too. Now, it's not something to laugh about when you're in those classes. I mean, it's a serious thing and you need to learn. But make it fun also.
That's right.
You know, I'm sure you make the classes fun and you know, I'm sure you've seen a little bit of everything with people shooting that are not familiar.
We've been on the
Rookies.
range. Yeah, we've been on the range, and you tell people, you drill in them, look, if you have an emergency, if you have a situation your weapon won't fire, please stop what you're doing, put the gun down, and raise your hand. And you'll have somebody in just about every class, they're like, look, I've got a question, and they're waving the firearm around like,
Oh,
stop what
put
you're
the
doing.
gun down.
Yes, gun down, hand up. But we have fun. I mean, as fun as you can.
Yeah.
In a classroom setting, and I try to be as real world and as vocal as I can. I'm very passionate about it, and it's not about the money. It's not, I want to save people's life.
Right.
I want to make a difference in my community, and I want to help people do what they can to make this community that we live in a better place to live, work, and raise a family.
Well, that is great, and that's all we can hope for. It really is. So you get your you go to the class. Now walk us through what happens next, how we actually get that permit. I know the sheriff is involved in some way, so talk about that.
For an example, you'll come to my class.
Okay.
You'll qualify. That same day, you will be issued a certificate. I tell people to reach out to the sheriff as soon as possible in your home county. Some counties are backed up anywhere from 90 to 120 days to
Sure.
make that first initial appointment. You take that certificate to the sheriff. He does a background. He does a fingerprint record. I believe a NICS check, the FBI, and probably around 90 days after that appointment, you will receive your concealed carry in the mail. And a lot of people think that concealed carry handgun permit is good for carrying a knife or a taser or any other type of weapon concealed, and it is not. It's a big
Right.
misconception. A concealed carry handgun permit is not for any other weapon other than a concealed handgun.
Absolutely. And go ahead and get your concealed carry done because he just told you that it could take up to 90 days, 120 days. So if you want it in hand, you need to go ahead and get it done because, you know, time's a wasting if you want it quickly. Now okay, so the trooper pulls me over and I have a gun. Tell me the appropriate way. People, we talk about this all the time. The appropriate way when you get pulled over and you have a concealed carry, what do you say to the trooper, the police officer, the sheriff deputy? Whatever.
Window down, hands out or on the wheel, the first thing out of your mouth is, sir, officer, trooper, I'm a licensed concealed carry, and I have a firearm in my vehicle or
Okay.
in my purse or under my seat. That needs to be the first thing out of your mouth.
Don't say I've got a gun.
Yeah, and
don't
look,
do that.
and don't be reaching for your weapon
Yes.
to display it. Don't
Hands
do that.
on the wheel.
We don't know you. We don't know that you didn't just rob a convenience store. We don't know that you didn't
That's
just,
true.
rob a bank or kill someone. Hands on the wheel, hands out the window. Sir, Trooper Barnes, whatever, I'm a licensed concealed carry and I have a firearm.
Very good.
You're required by law to disclose that.
Okay, and where do we need to keep the firearm?
Well, if you have a licensed,
It
if you're
can just
licensed,
be
it can
laying on
be.
the seat.
If you're concealed carry, odds are it's in your purse.
Right.
Odds are it's on your
And you're
waistband.
fine.
It's in your pocket. Yeah, you're fine.
I've seen a lot of people say, I lay it on the dash when I'm getting pulled. I'll go ahead and lay it on the dash.
It was my experience as a trooper. Typically, the only time I saw that was when it was someone that did not have a concealed carry.
Right.
So they would put it on the dash as I was stopping them, or when I had made my approach, it was on the dash already. And
Okay.
I would retrieve it.
Yes.
And I'd go back to my car with it. I'd issue my citation. I'd run a check on the firearm, and I'd return it upon issuing the citation or wherever I stopped them.
Okay, very good. It disturbs me that we can't have, if we have a concealed carry, it bothers me that we can't have a gun in a bank.
Well, now you can.
Could say, can you have
You can carry concealed in
in a bank? You can now.
Yeah, you used to couldn't.
I
You used to
know.
couldn't. Now, I love that word. But anyway, you can carry concealed inside of a bank
Okay.
as long as you're licensed. You used to couldn't carry inside of a bar, and now you can. You just can't carry in a bar if you're consuming alcohol.
Because I could save somebody's life if the
Exactly.
bank is being robbed. That's what I've always thought about. Golly, why wouldn't be able to have one? Because, the bad guy's going to have one, so why can't I have one to save,
That's one
and
reason
in
I-
church and in anywhere.
And you can carry in church. As long as it's not posted. And I tell people, when I see that posted sign that says no firearms or no concealed carry, to me it says we don't want your business.
Right.
Because if I was a crook, if I was a criminal, I would target that business. I would
Exactly.
target that store, and I would say, they're already thinning the herd for me. I know if they leave this store, they're not carrying concealed. They're not armed. And if you don't think bad guys don't think that way,
Yes.
you are sadly mistaken.
Exactly. Exactly. That's a good thought. Golly, that is just telling them, hey, there's no guns there.
That's right.
Aha. So, anyway, that's just some of my thoughts. All right, we're going to take our last break in the final stretches of the K-Files. We'll be right back with you.
If you recently lost your job and your health coverage due to the COVID-19 pandemic, and you think you may be eligible for Medicare, you probably have more questions than answers right now. Statewide Insurers Group, All Things Medicare, can help you with that. We can provide the guidance and the answers that you need to get the benefits you may be eligible for. Don't let this time of uncertainty jeopardize your eligibility for your Medicare benefits. Remember, relationships matter. Call Statewide Insurers Group today for the answers that you need now. 316-8166.
Being prepared and trained is the best way to keep your family safe. The best way to be prepared is to learn from those who've spent a lifetime protecting us. Barnes Safety and Consulting LLC offers concealed carry classes with instructors who are law enforcement officers active and retired with more than 100 years of law enforcement experience. Monthly classes are taught year-round with private classes and special group rates available. Classes are $75 and held in the Bailey area. Call or text 1-800-653-0643. Get your concealed carry permit and avoid becoming a victim.
And it's going to be hot. And we have to tell everybody, JP, make sure you stay hydrated.
Yes.
Plenty of water, Gatorade, whatever it takes. And if you work outside, go in and, don't stay out there the whole time and just get too hot. It's just not worth it. And check on your seniors. Seniors don't tend to hydrate like they should, and sometimes they tend to go out and want to work in their flowers. So please check on your neighbors and your seniors. That's important. And be very careful with the humidity being the way it is today. I told the ladies this morning, first thing, I said, don't fix your hair today. There's no need to. So don't worry about it. Just get out of bed and go. So anyway, we are in the normal times of July. Expect it. There's no need for us to whine about it because this is July. So what can you say? JP, so all law enforcement is in the news so much now. People don't comply.
Yeah, stop and think about all the things that we've seen in the news over the past 2 or 3 years, regardless of your personal opinion of how it played out, what happened. Stop and think. If each individual time these suspects had complied with simple, lawful, legal instructions, we wouldn't find ourselves in the situation that we do. I tell folks, this isn't Burger King.
Yeah, right.
We don't do things your way. When you're instructed, sir, ma'am, you're under arrest, it's not open for debate. You're not guilty of anything. You're going to have a court date. It's not open to discussion. And I don't mean that from a cocky standpoint.
Yeah.
If you're advised you're under arrest, you're under arrest.
You're under arrest.
I used to tell people jokingly, you can either go sitting in the front seat or hog-tied in the back. It didn't matter to me, but you were going. But anyway, I mean, that's where we find ourselves in law enforcement.
Yeah, it's terrible. And where would we be if we did not have law enforcement folks? And it's becoming it's so much harder if you talk to the recruiters in the departments, it's so hard. It's so hard now.
I know years ago on the patrol, they would have thousands of applicants, of applicants for a patrol school. And now they're struggling to get enough applicants to put a school together. And the Highway Patrol right now, we typically have 300 openings at any given moment. I know in the 80s, everybody wanted to be in law enforcement. Everybody wanted to wear that black and silver uniform. Yeah. Everybody wanted to be the Highway Patrol.
Yeah.
And it's changing times.
Well, their families are influencing them too. Their wives, they're saying, I want you to come home.
The news media is influencing it as well.
And the news media, oh gosh, they're really blowing it totally out of proportion here. But yes, it's, wives do want their husbands to come home. And right now, it's worse than, and it's always been, you never knew if your husband was coming home or not in this line of work. Firemen, same way, any service industry like this. But now it's scary for families. It really is, JP. You wonder. So anyway, but you need to comply with the law enforcement officer, no matter which law enforcement department it is. You need to comply when you get pulled. I mean, you were in the wrong or you wouldn't have gotten pulled to start with. So anyway, and I also do want to say one thing of caution though. If you work at a bank, a store, a retail, or anywhere, and they tell you to give them the money, give the money. Do not try to save the money for your business. In Florida, I just heard of a case. Some of my family lives down there, and it was so sad. They were just fighting with the perpetrator. Don't do it. Don't do that. I mean, just hand it over.
And I will tell you this too, in the coming months, I mean, as the holiday season comes around, it'll be here before you know it. Be vigilant, be mindful. When you go shopping and you're coming out of the store, take a moment and pause. Scan that parking lot. Be looking for that guy, that person that's looking for you, okay? Make eye contact with that person. Let them know that you see them. Don't be this person who comes out of the store, pushing your car, and you're focused on this,
You're
on
oblivious.
getting to your car.
Yes.
Don't do that. Scan that parking lot. Be mindful about what's going on around you. Be looking for that guy who's looking for you.
Yes, and I've always said, JP, try to walk out with somebody,
Absolutely.
especially if you're a female. Get in a group or wait. If you see somebody coming out, just wait a minute and come out, walk out in a group. You're less likely to get targeted if you're in a group too.
And I look for little things. Be mindful of where you shop. Do their lights work at night? Are the lights working? Is that parking lot well lit? If you see lights out, let the manager know that those lights need to be fixed, because I'm telling you, the criminal elements out here, they know.
Yes.
They keep up.
Oh yeah, they're smart. They're smart.
Yes, they
Believe me,
are.
they're well versed in what they do in their job. They are. I mean, they know. So that's really good advice. And you know, you're talking about shopping. We'll also give another tip. Don't leave packages in your seat, visible. Put them in the trunk.
Cover them up with something.
Cover them up. And you know what everybody does now, and I have been guilty in the past. And I'll tell you, I got fussed out by Sheriff Stone. Why didn't you lock your doors? You know, why are you not locking your door? I mean, and nothing got stolen. I mean, it wasn't a situation like that, but we were at the same place, and I got out of my car, and he said, you didn't lock your doors. So, you know, lock your doors, because you're inviting them and leaving. I can't believe Sheriff Stone was telling me how many people leave keys in the car.
For real.
What?
Yes.
What? Now, I'm not going to do that. I'm not leaving you my key, my car, my key, and access by leaving the door. I mean, just give it to you. I'll just give it to you. So, no, I'm not doing that.
And I've got to put in a plug, and I don't mean to get political, and I'm sorry. I worked with Sheriff Stone for years. Great guy, great law enforcement officer, hands-on kind of guy.
Right.
Probably the best sheriff in Nash County in my lifetime. He is a working sheriff. I wish I was much younger. I would, consider it an honor to work for him at the Sheriff's Department. But great guy, great sheriff.
Well, I feel the exact same way you do, so I'm glad you put that out there, because I do say that all the time, and thank you. I'm sure I'll thank you for him, because he would say thank you for sure for saying that. But anyway, JP has classes open. Your next class full? August 21st?
No, we've still got a few spots available.
Spots in that class. You do once a month.
Once a month.
So,
And we'll do a private class anywhere in North Carolina. We'll come to you anywhere.
Wow.
Or you can come to us.
How many do you need in a group before you?
Well, this is the way I do it. I charge $500 up to 5 people. So like
Okay.
if you wanted a private class just for you,
Right.
it's $500.
Okay.
Or 2 people, it's $500. It's $500 up to 5 people, or $100 per person beyond that.
Okay. All right. Well, hey, that's the average, price actually.
And it really is.
It is. So if you want to group your Sunday school class, I've heard of a lot of Sunday school classes doing this. Sunday school class, your church, as JP said, anything, a group of girls getting together, or a group of guys, you know how men are, a group of men getting together and just having fun. and I say having fun, I say that lightly because it is, as I will repeat myself, it is a serious matter. And a good thing. This day and time, you really need, used to you didn't hear about concealed carry so much. This big push has just been in the last,
Past few years.
3, 4 years,
Yes.
I would say.
People turn the TV on and they see this rioting. They see the courthouses burning. They see people, I call it rioting, some people call it protesting. People have a legal, lawful right to protest.
Yes.
They do. But these people do not have a legal, lawful right to scare you to the
Right.
point that you are afraid for your safety and the safety of those in your care.
Yeah, you
They
don't have
do
a right
not
to
have
burn my business down, that's for sure.
That is correct.
I mean, that's for sure. But yes, and I think they see this on TV, it's scary, and they say, I'm going to get my concealed carry.
Yep.
It's just,
They
I
want to
hear a
do
lot
something.
of that. Yeah, they do, and they need to. Protect yourself and your home, folks, I'm telling you, and protect yourself anywhere, your car. That gives you the right to take a gun in your car with you, so you have it wherever you go. So that's the good thing about the concealed carry. You really need to get it if you don't have it. I thoroughly recommend you doing that. So let's take this call. Good morning. Hello?
Sandra,
Yes.
good morning.
Good morning.
What are the rules if you do not have a concealed carry permit, and say you've had a pistol for a long time and you want to transport it, or you're in your car? What are the rules for that weapon, if you don't mind asking him?
It needs to be open, out in the open in your vehicle. Should you be approached by law enforcement, it needs to be. You need to have it on the dash, and you still need to disclose it if you happen to be stopped by a law enforcement officer that you do in fact have it.
He just wanted to ask and he hung up, but
Okay.
that was a good answer.
It was. That's
Very
a good question.
Good question. Good answer, good question.
But I mean, as far as transporting it in general, I mean, it can be in the trunk. I mean, it just needs to be out in the open should he come in contact with law enforcement.
So you can legally have a gun in your car if it's in the seat, if it's visible. Is that right? Visible? Okay.
And again, let's just say I'm driving down the road and it's in the seat beside of me, okay? You're getting stopped. You panic and you're freaking out. You forget momentarily about this weapon. The officer's making his approach. Do not take that weapon and come up
Pick it
and
up.
attempt to put it on your dash. It's going to be bad, okay?
Wow.
Wait, put your hands out the window, put your hands on the steering wheel, nervously tell him, look, I've got a gun over here on my seat, okay? Just communicate it.
Okay. But you
We
cannot
understand.
have it in the trunk
You can
if
try.
you don't have a concealed carry.
You can
Because
try.
that's not visible.
Well, it's not easily accessible either.
Okay, and
Okay.
true. Okay, so you can't get it
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
trunk. Okay, I got you. Okay, well, I think you've answered his question. That was a good question. If anybody else has a question real quick, it'll have to be quick, but please call. JP will be glad to answer your question.
Give us a call.
Yes, give us a call. 407-1111 is the number to call live. And I'll say again, we're on the K-Files. We always repeat this 2 or 3 times. If you know of any of the cases we've talked about, if you know of any tips, 406-6736. JP sponsors the show, so he don't mind me saying that while he's on. But anyway, please, if you have a tip, please call. It's your duty, really, to get these people locked up, take them off the street, and give families closure. That is our thing. We want to give these families, you wouldn't believe the families Lyndall talks to, that, they cry and they say, all I want is to know where they are, because there's so many missing people out there. All I want to know is that or if it's a murder, I want to know that they're locked up. I want to know who it is. I want to know who would do this to my family. So, it's your duty to please, it's anonymous. No one will know who you are. So please call. We pay fast up to $15,000, and that's up to $15,000. It depends on how big this tip was in making the arrest. So, and the big thing with us, we talked about it on the board, and most of these payouts are upon conviction. We talked about it, with the court system and COVID and all of this, it could be years for
That's
conviction.
right.
Nobody's
Sadly,
going to want to
that's
wait
right.
3-4 years for a payout. So we pay out upon arrest. Upon arrest, that's all it takes. So it's important. Please do that.
And almost every unsolved crime, I'm telling you, there's somebody out here who knows something. If you know something, say something. If you see something, say something.
Yes, you are right. Everybody, every crime, there's somebody that knows something. And the law enforcement, all the law enforcement officers that come on here say that. They all say that just like you did.
And you might think it's just insignificant.
Yes.
Just something, you might think it's just a rumor. That's fine. Let us know what you think. Let us know what you have heard.
Exactly. You might think, well, that's nothing. Well, it might be to them.
That's
It might
right.
be to law enforcement. That might be the one thing they needed. That they had the rest of the puzzle, and that might be the rest of it. So, anyway, please don't mind calling. Well, that does it today for the K-Files for us, JP. Thank you for
Thank you for
hosting in
having me.
Lyndall's place today.
Thank you. I enjoyed
We
it.
might ask you back. Lyndall should be back next week, hopefully, and we do send out prayers for his father.
Absolutely.
And we'll see you next week on the K-Files.
If you recently lost your job and your health coverage due to the COVID-19 pandemic, and you think you may be eligible for Medicare, you probably have more questions than answers right now. Statewide Insurers Group, All Things Medicare, can help you with that. We can provide the guidance and the answers that you need to get the benefits you may be eligible for. Don't let this time of uncertainty jeopardize your eligibility for your Medicare benefits. Remember, relationships matter. Call Statewide Insurers Group today for the answers that you need now. 316-8166.
Being prepared and trained is the best way to keep your family safe. The best way to be prepared is to learn from those who've spent a lifetime protecting us. Barnes Safety and Consulting LLC offers concealed carry classes with instructors who are law enforcement officers active and retired with more than 100 years of law enforcement experience. Monthly classes are taught year-round with private classes and special group rates available. Classes are $75 and held in the Bailey area. Call or text 1-800-653-0643. Get your concealed carry permit and avoid becoming a victim.